Hi there, welcome to another TechRadar Talks. I'm Hugh Langley, with me is Duncan Bell. We're here today leading off the Apple Watch news that Tim Cook has sent a letter to employees saying, firstly, that over 1,000 apps have already been submitted to the Apple Watch store, I guess.
1,000?
1,000. So, I mean, that's good, I guess, firstly. I mean, I'm glad that it's going to launch with some stuff to do, as opposed to Android Wear, which seemed to launch with just about nothing at all.
Yeah, it's the only thing that's going to make Apple Watch into a hit or a kind of meh.
Well, this is my thing. So with the recent press conference they did a few weeks ago, my disappointment wasn't that there wasn't more apps. Like this is to me, like you said, is what's going to sell the Apple Watch for me if I was ever to buy one.
Like basically everybody's seen Android Wear watches and they've seen Pebble watches, and they're waiting to see if Apple Watch, if among those 1,000 apps, there's 1,000 things that are going to improve your life. I don't think anyone's sitting there waiting for the Apple Watch to like literally revolutionise how they spend their day-to-day life, but everybody wants each of those apps to improve their life like a little tiny bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, things like Uber, like that, to me, that was like the big one. I was like, oh great, okay, Uber on my wrist, that's actually quite cool. But then I'm thinking, well, okay, maybe things like Nest, you know, the ones that I'm genuinely going to use for.
Yeah, I think the home automation, that is probably the most useful thing that Apple Watch or any smartwatch could do.
Yeah.
It's such a niche thing at the moment, the connected home, but I mean, at least, you know, if you have to get your phone out of your pocket to turn off your lights, well, that's ridiculous. At least with a watch, it's like there, and you can turn off your, I mean, admittedly, a light switch remains the best way of turning your lights on and off.
And things like Sonos, like those sorts of apps that generally I am having to use my phone for at the moment.
I think it's useful for that. I mean, the ones I've seen, like Trainline, they've announced their app's going to work with Watch. That makes sense to me, but that's not going to change anyone's life. And Premier Inn, I think, have got an app.
Yeah, a lot of hotels are getting on board.
Well, they're the only UK one so far.
But to me, the biggest one is potentially Apple Pay. Now, that's launched in the US, but not in the UK, and it's not going to be in Europe for the launch of the Apple Watch. Now, I feel like there's a potentially big use case there.
Yeah, maybe. It'll be big in America because, but the technology is already in place because you can already use your contactless card.
Yeah. But that, to me, the idea of going in and buying my coffee with a watch, okay, it'll look a bit stupid at first, but actually, to me, that's potentially the biggest, most useful feature the Apple Watch could have for me.
There we are. You heard it here first.
So my worry is why have they not got that in place? But yeah, I feel
I think it's because they're not that bothered about the UK market for that. I mean, in the US, that probably will be a big thing because in America, they still sign things.
Yes.
If you're watching this in America, why do you still do that?
Yeah, it does feel a bit behind.
What's up with that?
But yeah, I mean, right now I feel like we're yet to see some of the kind of big apps yet. There are maybe 5 I could list that, like I said, including things like Uber, potentially Nest, if that ever gets on board, the ones that are really going to make a difference.
But I think the reason for that is, at the moment, you can't see like a really useful thing that an Apple Watch can do any more than you can see a really useful thing that an Android. But it's basically, it's notifications and it's, having to do that as opposed to having to do that.
Yeah.
That's not going to change anyone's life. Right?
Yeah. So let us know what apps you like to see on the Apple Watch. Are there any at the moment, or any you would like to see that would actually make you buy an Apple Watch? Let us know below, and we'll see you again next time.